What's up, farming family? How y'all doing today? Today, we're going to be talking about that Paddletek ESQ-C 12.7mm and 14.3mm. If you've noticed, I reviewed the ALW-C, both thicknesses, 3 months ago or something-ish like that. But yeah, they have completely changed the paddle. They've made the handle a little bit longer on it. But the difference between the ESQ-C and the ALW-C is the ESQ-C has a 5.5-inch handle, which you'll be able to use two-hand backhands on easier. And the width is a little bit wider on the ESQ compared to the ALW. The ESQ is a standard shape. By definition, it's right at 8 inches in width. But yeah, I do have a discount code with Paddletek. It's Farmer. If you use that at checkout, you will get 10% off. That code is only active until November 25th, and then they're getting rid of all discount codes for reviewers. But I also have a discount code for Hometown Pickleball. If you want to get Paddletek paddles, if you use the code FARMER at their checkout, you will also get 10% off. That doesn't deactivate November 25th, so if you're watching this video after that, you can go to their website and purchase it with a discount. All right, time to get into this review, y'all. Let's get into the pop, the twist weight, the swing weight, all the important stuff y'all actually legitimately care about. Hope y'all been doing good. The first thing I want to talk about is the pop of these paddles. I want to talk about the 12.7 first. The 12.7 is incredibly poppy. Much like the TKO-C and the ALW-C, the new updated version, it's got a lot of pop. It doesn't quite have the pop that the Rhombus Ripple R1, R2 does, or the Yola mods. What it will have, though, is more pop than literally every other Gen 2 that's on the market right now. Like really easy, hands down, not even a competition. And then when it comes to the 14.3, it also has more pop than the Gen 2s. But the difference is the 12.7 is going to have a decent amount more pop than the 14.3. Like it's not even close either as well, to be honest with you. The pop difference is pretty drastic, to be real. So then compared to the ALW 12.7 and the ESQ 12.7, the pop feels basically identical. And the same goes for the 14.3. If you're wanting something with similar pop, the ALW and the ESQ have very similar pop and power. You'll hear me say that here in a minute. Well, I just did basically. The only difference is going to be the handle grip, and the ESQ is just a tad bit wider, which makes it technically a standard shape. But yeah, in terms of power, the ALWs and the ESQs for me have pretty much lined up almost identical in terms of power. There's not like a drastic difference or a noticeable difference. I'd be splitting hairs if I were to tell you, oh, this one's a little bit more powerful than this one. The 12.7s line up together and the 14.3s line up together. And much like the pop, these do have more power than most of the Gen 2s on the market, or all the Gen 2s on the market realistically, but don't have the power that the mods or the ripples have. Now, in terms of control, the 12.7 is definitely going to be pretty hard to control. Once again, not like the ripples and not like the mod, it's going to be easier to control than those two paddles are. But the 14.3 is going to be even easier to control. If you're coming up from a Gen 2, this is going to take a little bit of time to get used to the 14.3. But if you're going to the 12.7, it's going to take even longer for you to get used to, using that paddle. You're going to have to loosen up your grip a decent amount when using it just to be able to reset and block balls properly. But yeah, both of these are harder to control than Gen 2s, and much like the control and pop, they are under the ripple and mod. So if you're wanting something that's right underneath the ripple and mod in terms of control, or, better than them in terms of control, these might be the ones you want to go for. When it came to the spin, the ESQ-14 got 1990 RPMs. The 12mm got 2010 RPMs. Like I'm always saying, or like my boy over here is always saying, anything over 1850 RPMs is going to be enough to get the adequate spin to do whatever you want to with the ball in terms of top spin, slash, chops, any crazy ridiculous thing you want to do. If you came from a ping pong background, this paddle is going to be able to do it. Let's just get to the next section. So when it came to the swing weights of these, the 12mm had a 107 swing weight, and the 14mm had a 105 swing weight. Much like the old ALWs that I did, the thinner paddle had a higher swing weight. It's happened basically with all these Paddletek paddles I've reviewed. But yeah, that's crazy light swing weight. If you want to add lead tape anywhere you want to, you basically can do it and still have a really mobile, maneuverable paddle. And in terms of the overall weight, the 12mm weighed 7.7 ounces out of the box, and the 14mm weighed 7.6. You would expect it to be crisscross the other way, but that's just not the case with these paddles. When it came to the twist weight of these paddles, the 12mm had a 6.99 twist weight, and the 14mm had a 7.09 twist weight, which is crazy good. Anything over 6.5 would be considered good. This is up at the 7 threshold, which means these bad boys should not be twisting in your hands by any means whatsoever. And then if you add any lead tape, that number is just going to increase a lot. Now, in terms of sweet spot, much like the other standard shapes and wide bodies, the sweet spot is pretty big on this. Now, with the 12.7mm, I added a little bit of lead tape on the edges to increase the sweet spot even more. But yeah, these things sweet spots on point. Now, this is the one negative that I'm really having with these paddles. The paddles were $229 originally, but now they're doing a price increase to make them $249.99. So this is where it's going to get harder and harder to recommend to people. Are these really good paddles that I have a lot of fun with? Yes, I have a lot of fun with these. If you've not checked out my top 10 paddles, so far for this year, there's 2 Paddleteks in there, and for good reason. They're really high-end, high-playing paddles. The problem people are going to have is you're paying $220, $250 for paddles that generally don't last more than 6 months. I really wish Paddletek would have kept the prices exactly where they are, because this is going to cut off some people. Some people are going to be like, okay, at this point, they're just raising prices to raise prices. But yeah, the people I recommend this for, if you thought the Ripple and the Mod were too poppy for you, and you wanted something a slight step down, but you didn't want to go down to the Gen 2 paddles, these are a good option for you. And if you were going to buy the Ripple or you were going to buy the Mod, you were already going to spend this much money. So why not spend, the money on a Paddletek or on something you want, instead of having to just settle with something either a little more poppy or dropping down to Gen 2. But yeah, there's going to be people that are definitely going to be very upset about the price increase. I wish it wouldn't have happened. But yeah, this has been my review of these paddles. If you enjoyed these paddles and you think this could help your game, or this is right down your aisle, this is a paddle that I would personally buy myself and spend money on. There aren't many paddles out there in the market that are over $200 that I would do that. But so far, the ALW-C, the TKO-C, and the ESQ-C have all 3 been paddles that I would definitely do that with. And technically, since it's Gen 1, you ain't got to worry about core crushing, I guess. Or at least it's not as prevalent. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, slap them comments down below. Let me know what you think of the ESQ. I know some of you already have them. I've seen it in Discord. But yeah, until next time, stay safe. Have a good day. Drink plenty of water. Peace, y'all.